Revered coaching genius, Jamaica's Stephen Francis talks Tina Clayton and Tia Clayton. This is a must watch. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Now go ahead, please hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, go ahead and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. We drop a video at least once a day here on Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit that like button. And finally, leave your thoughts after this sports analysis where we take a look at and we break down the races. So, when we're ready, yep, good to go. Recently, Coach Stephen Francis, in an extensive interview with the Jamaica Observer, gave his thoughts on the young phenoms Tina and Tia Clayton. Francis spoke freely about their possibilities of transitioning, the demand by the public and press on these two young ladies, as well as their decision to stay in Jamaica. So, let's take a look at Coach Stephen Francis in his own words. After reports surfaced that Tina and Tia Clayton had decided to join the professional ranks at Stephen Francis's University of Technology's Jamaica-based MVP track club, of course, many persons thought Stephen Francis's perspective as to what was going on and needed his confirmation. But Stephen Francis, who is normally very coy in his answers, basically stated when asked if the two youngsters were in fact joining MVP. He said, "Usually when I turn up for practices in September, whoever is there is there. But I wouldn't be surprised to see anybody except people I know are already training with other people elsewhere." Boy, Stephen Francis has up most people. Now, to update you, news broke recently that the Clayton Twins out of Edwin Allen had decided to become professional athletes, which means, of course, that as of this moment, they would be able to collect, they are no longer amateurs, so they can be paid, sponsored, and or utilized in commercials, etc. So they can generate income. News also broke simultaneously that they had decided to go under the tutelage of the great coach Stephen Francis and the coaches and people at the MVP track club. Now, many of you should remember Tina Clayton's mind-bending national record run and personal record of 10.96, which the 17-year-old set in the finals of the Jamaica National Trials in the junior division recently.
Am I allowed to ask for a sub-11, Spencer, or should I not ask for a sub-11?
I think you can, because the conditions appear conducive. This is a sumptuous lineup. I think Serena Cole will be very, very dangerous here. Tina Clayton, the world under-20 champion, can't rule that out and underestimate her chances. She knows how to produce the goods on the big stage. Quality lineup assembled. Hazley Williams, Clayton Reed, Cole Hill, Clayton and James.
Set.
Speed. Go. Clean start. Great start by Tina Clayton, the world under 20 champion. The rest will have to do their running from behind. Tina Clayton, Serena Cole is coming forward, but Tina Clayton, the world under 20 champion, is the national junior champion. 10.97. That's the unofficial time. That equals the national junior record. We wait for the official time. Another stunning performance by Tina Clayton, the class act, coming good when it matters most and delivering another superb performance on the big stage. 10.96, new national junior record.
With Tina Clayton taking first in that national record, a new personal record of 10.96, followed by Serena Cole, her schoolmate, also from Edwin Allen, with the 11.13, as well as her other half, the talented Tia Clayton, her twin sister, who ran third in 11.25. This may be one of the reasons, of course, why the entire world was set ablaze when we found out that, well, that she had joined the party at the MVP track club. Now, to continue the interview, Coach Stephen Francis went on to state, and I quote, "What I will say is that people should be very careful in piling expectations on kids, children, young ladies. I have coached women who run 14 flat, and I've coached women who run 10.54. So, I mean, it doesn't matter as long as one is willing to work and willing to listen and try, I'm good." He reiterated this statement to supporters of track and field as well as fans of the Clayton Twins. He said, "What I will say is that people should be very careful in piling expectations on kids, children, young ladies, or young men who display extraordinary ability at relatively young ages." Now, I have to say I completely agree with this fact, and I think sometimes we ourselves here at Peter Lloyd World are guilty of doing, that also. I mean, seeing a 17-year-old running 10.96, one expects great things. Now, the Twins, who have captured the hearts of Jamaicans and people across the world, I mean, they're just remarkable young ladies, very talented, and they seem to be very, very cool, very humble, very well brought up. In the semi-finals at national championships, did what they normally do, dominated, ran a nice smooth race, and I wanted to just show you this when that young lady challenged and they just turned on the afterburns. It was kind of cool. But this is what Jamaicans are falling in love with. These two remarkable twin sisters who you can't tell them apart, who are just so talented.
Clayton, it's Tina and Tia Wolf Bennett and Chance.
Set.
Speed City is away. Michaela Hasty gets a good start from Immaculate. Brina Wright is there, but Tina Clayton in full tracking mode. Hasty now disrupting the two from Edwin Allen, and in seeing that, as she looked to her left, just squeeze the accelerator just a little bit more to come across the line, and those two well away from the field at 11.54 for Clayton and 11.56 for Clayton. So Tina Clayton gets the win at 11.54 and Tia Clayton at 11.56. But Hasley.
Coach Francis went on to share some really interesting perspectives. He said the vast majority of those people who pass a certain level as teenagers never get any better. There's a long history of this. I mean, somebody that runs 10.9 at age 17 or 18, people tend to think that their ceiling would automatically be 10.2. And so the expectations is what kills a lot of people. And people should understand that there is no linear or even arithmetic or progressive or correlation between age and performance, Francis stated. And of course, I can completely agree with the great coach in this instance, because it's true, we do expect athletes to improve on that kind of level at that pace. And really, there's no scientific correlation between a young lady running 10.96 at age 17 and her automatically running 10.75 at age 22. Something that we have tried to point out here at Peter Lloyd World, but it's really great to hear the great ones speak. Coach Francis continued. He said, I don't think that we should weigh down these kids. Let them go compete and stop commenting every minute about why they have not progressed and so on. Our history has shown. And most people, when you get down to being world class at those ages, they are pretty much near their ceiling. What he's saying is that if you're running that, in most instances historically, if you're running that kind of time that early in your career, you have reached your limit and you're probably never going to run much faster. So the Clayton Twins decided that they would not go overseas to a university and they would stay locally and train locally. Francis commented on that much. Very often here at Peter Lloyd World, many of you talk about the advantages or disadvantages to running overseas and locally. And he introduced a perspective that even I had never even thought about. I'm one of those people who keep saying that the collegiate system really can burn out an athlete, although I see advantages. And he makes a really good point. He says that the vast majority of people who have stayed here have also been failures. I would agree that there are some advantages to staying here, depending on where you go and depending on the conditions under which you stay here. There are also advantages to taking the NCAA route. The NCAA route is far less risky, as well as it being easier to study and get yourself an education. I mean, Usain Bolt did very, very well being here, and Johan Blake to a lesser extent, but you can't make decisions based on only the successes. There is a whole string of failures that sometimes people conveniently ignore, and there are a whole lot of people who claim that they can make them good and fail. Francis went on to state, it's a very, very tough decision for a youngster, and I can't blame those who decide to go with the less risky proposition. But for those two young ladies, the Clayton Twins, I hope that wherever they go, they will at least continue to satisfy themselves and to see how good they can get. So there you have it, the genius himself in terms of creating the best in the world in terms of female sprinters. Jamaica's coach Stephen Francis talks freely about the Clayton Twins, their decisions, and he also goes into the wider perspective about younger athletes. And I have to admit, sometimes we at Peter Lloyd World, our expectations are sometimes a little bit unrealistic. I learned a couple of things. I hope you guys you kings and queens learned something yourselves. Let me know your thoughts. You agree with his statements? Let me know, of course. This is Stephen Francis's 2 cents. Now don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave your comments. You are kings and queens. Bless up.